Hello and welcome to Memoirs of Successful Women. I'm Annie Gibbins, founder and CEO of Women's Biz Global, and I invite you to kick off your heels, get comfortable, and be ready to receive the golden nuggets that are shared as you listen in to candid conversations I have with fascinating women from around the globe. Business leaders, entrepreneurs, humanitarians, athletes, and a whole lot of regular people. They will keep you riveted as they let their guard down and open up on aspects of their business and life journey, how they measure success and what they have learned along the way. My intent is that our conversations will inspire you to embrace opportunities and possibilities beyond the limits of your imagination, because I know that this is where we reclaim our power. I want you to reclaim your power, your strength and vulnerability, to stand in your truth and propel yourself towards the life that you dream to live. Hello and welcome to Women's Biz Global Podcast, Memoirs of Successful Women, where today we dive into the dynamic world of crisis management, leadership and resilience. I am your host, Annie Gibbins, and I am thrilled to introduce you to a true force of nature, Coni Meyers. With a career spanning decades, Coni has become a renowned figure in the field of crisis management. Her journey is nothing short of extraordinary. As a 6-time international best-selling author and speaker, Coni has dedicated her life to ensuring that individuals and communities are well prepared during times of disaster. Through her organisation, CKMP, Coni has tirelessly worked to educate and support thousands of individuals and businesses in their sustainability and crisis preparedness efforts. Her impacts have been profound, equipping people with the knowledge and the tools to navigate and manage crisis effectively. But Coni's commitment doesn't stop there. As an FEMA inspector, she plays a vital role in educating and training communities on the importance of being prepared and managing crisis. Her efforts have contributed to the strengthening of resilience in countless communities, empowering individuals to face and overcome challenge. So it's not surprising that her influence extends into the business world, where she has taken Win Home Inspections, a home inspection company, and transformed it into a national enterprise, demonstrating her knack for effective leadership. So she's recognised for all areas of leadership, particularly what we're going to hear about are crystalline moments. Oh my goodness, wait till you hear a little bit about that through her Kick Butt leadership programs. So you are going to love her infectious energy, her passion, her unwavering determination, her vibrant personality. I would love to welcome her here now. Hello, Coni.
Oh my goodness. Annie, thank you so much. That was absolutely amazing. Amazing. Makes me sound pretty darn good.
You are pretty darn good. I am so excited about having a conversation with you today because you are one really, really fascinating, lovely lady. And I love everything you stand for. So I'd love to dive right in now for our listeners. Community leadership, I want to talk about. So you have been a strong advocate for community leadership through all of your career. So can you share your perspective on how individuals and businesses can truly do well by doing good in their communities?
I think it's really important, first of all, to really, if you're going to go into business, you need to really think about what it is that you're passionate about. And quite often when you're passionate about something, you want to share that with others. And by sharing with others, you stand out in the crowd. So doing well by doing good, you take it to a whole nother level. To give you a kind of an example, I have a friend who is also very involved in a dog rescue, and she's passionate about that. She goes all over the United States picking up dogs and delivering them to new owners. And that's all she wants to talk about. Well, that is a cause. That's a purpose for her. And she uses that to get clients for her real business. So it's a great way to just give back. As a matter of fact, here in the United States, and I imagine this is true around the world, 87% of consumers will look at what a company's cause or an organization's cause is and decide whether or not they want to buy from that organization. So if you are providing some kind of a service, maybe you're coaching, maybe like all those wonderful ladies on the summit, if you have a service to offer and it is consumer oriented, then you want to have something that is going to make you stand out and give back. And when you give back, who are they going to call when they need your services? You have to do it authentically. You truly have to be passionate. That's why it's important. You find your passion first, and then you figure out what your cause is going to be. But it is amazing how much difference it makes.
Such a good point too, because I'm that person. I would rather support a business that does give back to communities. I think more and more of us are having that social conscience, and so I think a lot of people go, "Is it just a button to tick?" You know, like you go, "No, it's not. It's actually genuine. It has to be genuine for you as a company, for sure, because you know we all sort of check that out. But when you do that, that's right. It is prominent in mind, and I think even younger. I look at my adult children now, the Gen Ys and even Gen Zs coming through, and it is more and more important to them.
Yes,
for sure.
The gens here in the United States, the Gen Zs and the Gen Ys and the millennials are over 50% of the population. And it truly is, they look very closely, whether they're investing in an organization, what their causes are. They look very closely. Like you'll hear people say, like I just had this happen the other day where a mom's asked something about some vitamins that her daughter was taking. And she says, "Do you get that on Amazon?" And she goes, "No, I support local businesses." And that is truly what's happening with the young people. They're paying real attention.
There you go. Sustainability is a term we often hear, but its importance can't be overstated, I believe. Could you elaborate on why sustainability is so critical, not just for businesses, but also for communities and the environment?
Well, I truly believe that kids, what our kids are going to be facing. I have a great grandson who's 7. And the scientists are saying it's going to take 25 to 40 years for the pollution or the greenhouse gases that are in the atmosphere right now to be gone. That means he's going to be 47 years old if it's 40 years. What kind of world are our kids and our great grandkids and the generations after that going to be living in if we don't pay attention to sustainability? And the United Nations is now pointing out that we need to drop the greenhouse gases by 50% by 2030. We're already looking at, by the mid 2030s, go past the threshold of 1.5 centigrades, which is where they start saying that then it could become irreversible. So it's really important that we understand what our role is in this world. Sustainability actually means that we do things that are in alignment with not jeopardizing the future of the generations to come. That's what sustainability is all about when it comes to the environment. That's also what it's all about when it comes to businesses. What are you going to do to make sure that business sustains? But for our environment, all you have to do is look at our kids and our grandkids. And if you don't have any children of your own, you're going to be looking at your nieces and your nephews. So it's important that we understand what's happening in the world. All you have to do is look at the United States in the last 30 days. We had Hurricane Hillary that came into California. We had a tropical storm. I live in Las Vegas in the desert. We had a tropical storm in Las Vegas. I used to be a FEMA inspector, and I was physically addicted to the job. I would come home, I'd get ill, and then the first thing I would do is turn on the TV, and I would look to see where I'm going to go. Now, if I was a FEMA inspector, I'd be saying, well, do I want to go to Hawaii? Do I want to go to California? Maybe I want to go to Florida. How does Chicago sound? How does Kentucky sound? It's absolutely evident that if we don't do something, it's not going to get better. It's going to get worse until we become sustainable.
Frightening statistics. Absolutely frightening. And if it doesn't initiate a response to actually say we all need to do our bit to start, building a better future that our kids and our grandkids are going to inherit. I mean, seriously, what are we waiting for? Frightening. frightening. Your work in crisis management and preparedness is so inspiring. And I'd love you to explain then, what does preparedness mean to you? Both in terms of personal life and business life. And how does it, when you're prepared, how does that really impact your overall resilience for the challenges you're going to have to overcome?
Preparedness equals resiliency. It actually empowers. Let me try to put this in an example. So one of my partners in my for-profit business, she lives in California. And she never really thought whenever there was a little bit of a shake, the first thing she would do is run to the door, right? And after she started working with us and she started realizing, she went and put together a preparedness kit. And it was a simple little go kit. And one of the things we talk about with those earthquakes, keep your shoes by your bed in case you have to jump into them right away. And so there was a little bit of a shake, and she said she didn't even think, she just reacted. And she put her feet in those shoes, and she was at her go bag waiting. She gave it a few seconds to see what was going to stop. And when it did, she didn't have to proceed any further, but she already knew what she was going to do. The opposite of that is, I have a friend who went through the Malibu fires. She had 2 little girls, and she had an office that had 30 or 40 real estate agents in it. Her home that she grew up in, her mom still lived there, and it was burnt to the ground. And the fire was headed one direction, and where she and her family lived was the opposite direction. So they thought they were safe. And at the middle of the night, they got a knock on the door saying, you have 15 minutes to get out. She said she took half that time to spin around in a circle, not knowing what to take. And when they got to the shelter, her little 4 and 6-year-olds had nothing. They shouldn't bring anything for her kids. So being able to know what to do and knowing that you have that kit where you can grab it and go is critical to deciding what you're going to take and how you're going to get there. You don't have time to think. Your mind goes blank, right? So preparedness really, and this falls over into all parts of your life, not just for disasters. When you start thinking in that mindset of being prepared, you're going to have things around your business that you may not have thought about, that now all of a sudden you're going, well, if this happens, what do I do? So it starts changing your mindset to becoming a resilient mindset overall.
Totally agree with that. So often, if I thought of that word, I'd go, that's kind of related to, I remember when I was having my kids, it's almost like get the baby bag ready when you go into labor. It's like, it's by the door, you're prepared, because let's face it, you're like, I'm not going to know what to put in at the last minute. And it's all just perfectly organized. And it's that example is that, this is an important moment. I want it to be all right. I want to feel safe and secure, and I want to be 100% focused on what I'm trying to do. And if I look at that on, when I was, I had 5 children and all of their preparing their bags, what's the library book day and this and that, whatever. It's part of that plan that you actually get organized. I've just, as you were part of one of my summits last weekend, and when you've got all of those speakers and things, you've got to be prepared ahead of time so that you can focus on the main conversation, rather than wondering, now how am I going to access certain bits. And so I love the way that you've actually integrated that into safety plans. Absolutely. If you're in an area that is known particularly for risk, such as fires, floods, tornadoes, other concerns, or even safety in schools, which I'm sure we'll go into, then it is highly important that you put yourself in a position that you go, I don't even want to think. I want to have done that thinking before, so Absolutely. That I can have confidence that bag, that kit has exactly what I need. I just love the clarity of that. So
I'm sorry, go ahead.
That's all right. I didn't mean to chop you off. You should.
I just was going to say, once you start doing that, just like what you're talking about, once you start doing that, all of a sudden, like with the planning you did for that summit, my guess is that kind of came naturally for you, because you seem to be like one of those people that are very organized and preparing and making sure you know what you're doing. Well, that carries over into all the parts of your life, whether it's your business, whether it's your personal life, whether it's your family, whatever it is. All of a sudden you are thinking ahead, and it makes your life more resilient. It makes it more clear, and you feel confident
Yes.
when you're prepared.
I think you feel confident when you're prepared. You also feel more relaxed and you
Oh,
get to have fun. You don't get to have fun in a trauma situation, but most of the time, you have fun in your business because it's not stressful. You're not frantic. You're not reactive. You're proactive. You've already prepared that landscape. So I love to always be in a position that, wouldn't it be great if you're like, a month ahead, 2 months ahead, that you can sort of, you might still tweak some things, but if you can get ahead of the situation, it means that as you're enjoying that moment, and particularly when you've got others around you, they absorb that energy. I
100%.
strongly believe that.
100%.
So resiliency is a trait that, obviously many people admire, want, especially during tough times. But based on your experience, you've had extensive experience, how can individuals and organizations foster resiliency and emerge stronger in challenging situations?
Creating visions. Creating visions that, and I always say that you need to create a vision that's at least 1 year ahead, but maybe 3 or 5 years, depending on what it is. But creating a vision of what you want your life to look like, or what you want your business to look like at that end of time. And then you have to come from that vision. Once you start coming from a vision, then you have to become that vision, and then you can envision all the sensorizing. So what's it smell, taste, look, feel, sound like? And then you step into it. What is it that I am? How am I going to be dressing when I walk out the door in the morning? Who am I going to be listening to? Who am I going to surround myself with? By creating that vision, and then you do the same thing with your team. You create a team vision. So whatever it is that your business is, you want it to be, what's it look like 1 year, 3 years, 5 years from now? And then come from it. And then each team member will pick that up. And that creates incredibly strong resiliency. And then when something doesn't go the way that everybody thought it was going to go, then it's not, you say, okay, well, what do we need? What do we need to change? What do we need to change, our vision, or do we need to change what we're doing? And all of a sudden, it's preparedness, right? It's being able to understand that you can build back better. And as a matter of fact, I always say failures are nothing more than course corrections, because you weren't supposed to go that way in the first place. Disasters are a true course correction.
Yes, definitely a course correction. It stops you in your tracks, right? It stops you in your tracks. It's like when you procrastinate, when you wait, when you delay at other times, disasters actually make you go, well, there's no wiggle room here. We have to react. I'd love to move on to your amazing initiative called Kits for Kids. I think it's so fabulous and so truly impactful. Can you tell our listeners, though, what is Kits for Kids? What's the inspiration behind it, and the ways that it's really going to make a massive difference in the lives of our young people?
Well, it was inspired by my son, who was 10, and he went to the fire department. He's in his 50s now, but he was 10. And he went to the fire department, and he came home, and he had a little can of baking soda. And he goes, Mom, why isn't this by your stove in case of a grease fire? I've had a can of baking soda next to my stove ever since. And when I started it with a for-profit. I put together a certification for the crisis knowledge preparedness training. And I started teaching adults. This was during 2020 and 2021. I did end up with 38 CKM advisors around the country. However, adults, there's something that FEMA calls preparedness procrastination. And it really amounts to the avoidance. It's kind of like, people don't like to talk about a will because they have to think about dying. It's the same thing. You have to think about, there's going to be something go wrong, so I have to think about being prepared. And after 2 years of really, even the people that I had trained and they understood the importance of it, and I'm giving them all the extra tools and gifts and everything that they needed, they were like, okay, well, they didn't prepare themselves. So I used that, and I thought, okay, what can I do to make adults pay attention? Well, all of us want to protect our kids. Every one of us want to protect our kids. And around the world, because of COVID and some other things that are happening, kids are in trouble. So I came up with the kits for kids. This is it. It fits into the bottom of a kid's backpack. Everywhere the backpack goes, school, the playground, activities, it's in here. It's Velcroed in. And it has a tracker. It has all the safety items that a kid needs. And it gives a kid a peace of mind that they've got something to protect them. And then it gives the parents a peace of mind that knowing they have those things in them. And as we're talking to the kids about what's in the kit, how to use it, there's like a meditation, there's a breathing meditation in it, along with some practical things like a whistle and a light and bandages and that kind of stuff. But giving the kids an understanding that they have a little bit of control. Now, there are going to be some situations they're not going to have a lot of control, but just maybe there'll be something in this kit that's going to help them, right? Mm-hmm. And for the parents, as we're giving these kits out and we're educating the kids on what they use them for and how they use them, we're talking to them about what their emergency kit at home needs to have. Now, we talk to them like they've got one. I can tell you 99.9% of the time, not it. But as we're talking to them, we're talking about the emergency kit, and we say, okay, this is what needs to go into the emergency kit. And when there's an event, you take this out of the everyday kit backpack and you put it in the emergency kit, and you've got 40% of what you need to have in that emergency kit already there and ready to go. So I'm using the kids as kind of a carrot. I'm actually going to start a campaign. I'm super excited about this. We're going to do a campaign where instead of having adult spokespersons for the nonprofit, we're going to have kid spokespersons. And we're going to ask them on a local level, on a community level, to send in a 30-second to a 1-minute video of why they want to save the planet, why they want to protect their family, why they want to make their community better, whatever it is. And they're going to submit those at a local level. And then we are going to have judges that will pick the ones, and we'll have a boy and a girl. They're going to be a spokesperson locally. And then we'll let the kids pick the ones for the states. And then we'll pick from them. They can vote on who they're going to have the national spokesperson. But just think about this. Think of the army of kids that we're going to have out there. And what are they going to be saying to their mom and dad? Where is our emergency kit? We haven't done that drill for a while. What do we need to do? What else do we need? There's a new risk, there's some kind of new risk we've come across. What are we going to do about that? And when it comes to sustainability, our kids know what has to be done. As a matter of fact, there was a landmark case just last week. The state of Montana got sued by kids everywhere from 5 to 22 because the emission controls, they weren't looking at what was happening to the environment and what it was going to do for the kids' lives. And the kids won. They won the lawsuit. So we get armies of kids out there. It's going to change the conversation, and they have lots of energy. So
I'm imagining my granddaughter. She would be coming home going, Nana, why don't we have a kit? Where is my kit? I want a kit in my bag. I want to feel safe and secure. And it's not to make them feel that they, have anxiety. It's actually to relieve that anxiety.
Absolutely.
This might not be, for every kid on the planet, but if you're in an area that, there are known risks, this is a reality that you want to. You imagine that situation, what is their potential situation of risk? And then if they were in that, how much better would they feel with their just feeling safe and secure by having something that they could access, knowing where it is, and already that preparedness that they've already gone through the pack. They can visualize all of the elements in that pack. That is just so cool. It's not as if you're suddenly giving them something, they have a defibrillator at a shopping center and you go, that's really cool. But can you imagine if someone's having a heart attack and then you get the defibrillator and then you've got to read all the instructions on how to actually do it. That's why we do a first aid course, right? So hopefully that triggers. But this is to a whole new level, because if you've actually got that that child has actually studied those. I know exactly what's in this pack, and should I need to access it, it's going to be so great. I love your campaign idea, because you're just going to get all of these passionate little warriors out there going, I'm so glad I've got my kit and I want to be your ambassador, and pick me. But in that moment, through that campaign, all those parents are going to be thinking, yeah, why haven't I got my child?
Exactly.
I need to get my child. It is very clever. Don't go to the parents, go to the kids and say, yep, you need to be telling your parents. I love the link here of when you shared earlier about the baking soda, I think it was in your kitchen. Like, this is exactly it. Your grandchild, was it your child?
No, it was my child. It was my son.
Your child at the time went and said, Mum, why don't we have this? What if we had a fire? It's like, absolutely. And now I just love drawing on people's why they get into this space and what drives them. There's such great linkage there of, you're now saying, you're letting your kids go, Mom, Dad, why don't I have this with me? I just think that's brilliant. Well done, you.
Well, I think it's really important that, I might have some parents kind of mad at me.
You might.
But I think it's important for kids, and there's things in here that they could use for first aid. It doesn't have to be a disaster. It could be they fell on a bicycle, or maybe they got into a fight with somebody, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
There's going to be things in here that they could use. But I really think the bottom line is what you just said. It's going to create resiliency, right? Because they're prepared. They're prepared. Yeah. Is it going to prepare for everything? No. But a lot of things that happen on a day-to-day basis with kids. And the one thing that the parents love is the tracker. The tracker can track where the kids are and keep them safe. So that's, I'm so excited about, especially the campaign. Oh my gosh. Annie, the campaign, every time I talk about it, I get goosebumps.
I love that.
It's like, I'm going to go viral. Never would I've ever thought I would have said those words, but I believe I'm going viral with this.
Good on you. You need to send it to the ends of the earth. I love it. Now, in this, while we get goosebumps and while we get so excited, we also have challenges. Everyone in their career journeys had challenges. You'll be having challenges now. That's right. Not everyone will want to receive this message. There are challenges that you're going to have to overcome. I'm imagining people's procrastination. Why aren't they responding quick enough? Donation concerns. Why aren't they donating to this? Finding different collaborators. You can't do it all by yourself. How do you partner up? How do you recruit volunteers? These are just a few that I'm thinking about. How do you overcome these kind of challenges so that you can still focus on the main goal? The main goal is that you have this amazing solution for children to feel safe and secure, and then to be able to not just feel safe and secure, but be able to access resources that can really help them at a time of need. How do you, though, stay focused and overcome those challenges?
Well, to say that I've stayed focused and have been 100% on board the entire since November of 2021, I would be lying. There were times, especially last year, that I wanted to just say, that's it. I'm too old for this. I need to get out. But I think that the biggest thing is getting people on your team that are as passionate about what you're doing as you are. And for me, I am a little bit, I've been told people have a hard time saying no to me, which is a really good thing. I think my grandma looks kind of helped that out a little bit. But really, when I put my advisory board together, Annie, after my first advisory, we had about 35 people on the call. And after our call, and I asked every single one of them why they said yes when I asked. And every single one of them said, we couldn't say no to you. And I think it's because they understand my passion. Yeah. And I am kind of a grandma type. So, they're kind of saying no to their grandma if they say no to me. So,
Exactly. Use that to your advantage.
100%.
I've had that even from a rock star who I had as an ambassador of one of my charities that I ran. Eventually, after 4 times, he goes, Annie, I just can't say no to you. Because I said, why did you finally agree? And he goes, enough. You're just too enthusiastic. I just have to say. And
don't you think enthusiasm is a big part of it, right?
Oh, it is, because people want to be involved in something that they actually feel that it's real, that it's going to have real impact. There's also something that they can do. If you ask people to be part of something but don't give them something to do, so you have to be able to release some of those tasks. You have to trust in others that they will support your vision. You know, there's so many elements of it. You need an army, but it's also hard to relinquish that when you're your baby, right? It's kind of like, I
Oh,
want to help, but I
oh,
don't really want you to touch anything. Where you actually have to get to that point that you go, yeah, I've actually gone and itemized all the ways that you can help, from donations to giving time to helping promote to doing all these things, and then giving them the tools, which means that you have to be super prepared in your campaign as the business owner to be able to allow people to help, to enable them to help, to support them in the roles that they're doing. There's just so many aspects to it, and I love it because it is a real journey when you're relinquishing your baby, but which needs to then be shared amongst so many. So I
oh.
love the journey, and I say you just rock that nana image, and because it's going to work in your advantage.
I actually have, I have a boyfriend, and he says, Connie, you need a helmet. So whenever I do my board meetings, I have a helmet that says CKMP on it. And because I have a terrible time. My biggest challenge of all is delegating and letting go. So what you're talking about is absolutely, I mean, I've been a sole entrepreneur now for so many years and have had to do it all. And my executive director, she reminds me, she says, okay, this is what you can delegate.
Yeah. One of the hardest things when you've been a senior figure, your own director, a entrepreneur, a solo entrepreneur, it's very hard to delegate. People find this surprising, going, why don't you just give things? You go, oh, by the time I explain it, and then they probably won't do it right, or this or that, whatever. It is a big challenge. So once you actually get to that stage, but it allows you to get your business, if we apply this principle to any areas of business, it makes you go through what are all the steps. You know, I might do that even on, you know, managing a podcast or managing a summit or creating digital assets or promotions. Once you've got the steps of this is the way it works, then it is rinse and repeat. Anyone can do that. So you have to be prepared as yourself, and brave as a business owner, you know, learn to go, oh, it's going to be okay. And then once you start doing that and you realize, goodness me, what joy that you get to share, because not only are you 100% passionate about it, all of your army of volunteers become equally passionate about it. And the value is seriously exponential. You know, you get that synergy. Synergy is one of my favorite words, Connie. And I just love, you know, that the sum of the parts is just so much more. You get that exponential, yes, amazing, wow. And it's just so much fun. It is fun to share the joy on actually creating something that has immense value. And your project, you know, seriously has immense value. I'm imagining those children who are in those homes, you know, even if their parents weren't prepared and they've got their little kid in their school bag, well, your bag's something that you can grab at any time. So even if a fire is coming, you've got your bag. You don't have to even unpack the bag. Take the bag. The bag's probably even got a sports uniform or something else in it. You know, if your mum forgets your clothes, take it, run, and you go, you know what, I've got it. And even if that is just 40% of a first aid kit or whatever it is, you know, you've got something that you go, well, I've got my safety and security blanket, and I'm able to do that. In fact, that child is probably then enabled to help others around them. And wow, what an amazing opportunity for them. So how can people help you, Connie? Those people who are listening in now going, wow, this is such a great project. I would love to help you. Is it only in the States? I'm here in Australia. How's it going to work? How can people help you?
By passing on the word, number one. I mean, I think that, no, it's not just in the United States. Every country has some kind of risk factor, especially right now. And no matter what that risk factor is, or your family has some kind of a risk factor. So these kits the Kits for Kids is just the beginning. We're going to have kits for seniors. If you are active, let's say that you're a runner or you are having a kit, make your own kit and have in it the things that you need to have. But to help me get the word out, what you can do is reach out to me. You can join our volunteers. We've got all kinds of amazing opportunities. We're just launching this. We introduced the kit in June. So it's really just taking off. So anybody that wants to help, I embrace you to come and join us, because it's going to be an amazing ride. It's going to be we'll save people's lives.
Yeah.
We'll save lots of property. We'll save tons of money, and create a generation and future generations a planet that can be lived in. So it's a big, my goal is to help 30 million people be better prepared.
Wow.
That's my goal. And to make that happen, I need lots of community leaders helping and coming along with me and giving me ideas and saying, I can run with this and take it to their community and to educate them. We've got the tools. We just need the help. And obviously, we need the money.
Yeah.
So that little QR code there, if you want to go there and learn more about the Kits for Kids and make a donation, take a picture of it. And to learn more, just reach out to me. I am very reachable through all the social media and through the website, Be Prepared, Be Ready. I embrace anybody that comes on board and wants to help us with this, because it's a big, big endeavor.
It is a mammoth endeavor, but it starts with, one warrior such as yourself, Coni, and then it's a ripple effect as we get more and more people on board. So if you're listening in or watching us on YouTube and thinking, you know what, that'd be pretty easy for me to do. I could actually be one of those people who can help spread the word, get kits out, be a resource person wherever you are in the world. Coni would love to hear from you. So just go to bepreparedbeready.org. It's that easy. If you're watching on YouTube, you can scan the QR code and just reach out to Coni. Obviously, this takes money. If we want to get kits into every bag, of children, ideally, then it's going to take some money to actually obviously get them resourced. But with this, it means that every little kit has got incredible value. Each little one could save a life. And even if it doesn't save a life, I tell you what, it allows that child to feel really safe and secure. It feels them to feel empowered. And that's what I love. I love people to just go, I feel like I'm empowered, that I know what to do when I need to do it. And that is just priceless. So I encourage you to get on board. I'm certainly going to be supporting this. Money is great. We will want lots of money in this initiative, and we also want people to help. So thank you so much for coming.
I have one more thing I want to add, because I was negligent on this. The one thing that would really help us a lot is if you are part of a foundation, or you are part of a corporation that has a foundation, and we are in alignment with whatever the mission is, or if you're part of a government agency that you could help us get grant programs, because the big money is what's really going to make the difference in this. Yeah. And obviously, every little dollar, you donate $1, I'm going to be thrilled. But to be able to put the kits and things together, we need the introductions, we need the help from the larger organizations that can maybe bring us along with them or something like that.
Fantastic. So if you're a corporate out there and you're thinking, you know what, this aligns perfectly with other campaigns and things that we do. If you're someone who knows how to get grants on different things, you might even be a grant writer. You might be able to just let Coni know where that opportunity lies. That's right. You require big money to have big impact, and we want a huge impact here. So I just thank you so much for sharing with us today. It's been a delight having you on.
Thank you. I loved your summit. I cannot wait to do the next one. And thank you so much for having me. It's just been you're just a joy. Just a joy.
Thank you, Coni. Thanks so much for tuning in to this episode of Memoirs of Successful Women. I'm Annie Gibbins, founder and CEO of Women's Biz Global. And if you would like to fast track your future success, hop on over to womensbizglobal.com. Find out about all things women's biz, and most importantly, take the opportunity to have a free trial of Women's Biz Tribe. I look forward to seeing you online very soon. Until next episode, bye for now.